Okay, welcome to the third block of the speed and agility unit of the athletic development program for the adult athlete. We're going to talk a little bit today about the mechanics that we've always touched upon, but now integrating them into your sort of speed development program. Again, the speed today is going to be a low level, it's 75%. But we're not prepared yet to go to the 80s, 90s, and we don't need to necessarily. This is going to be big and good development for us moving forward. But now we're going to make it a bit more complex by putting in linear mechanics into the movement. So there's going to be a better transfer now of the movement, the linear mechanics that you've took time to learn, now into a more specific kind of speed drill, if you like. And we'll start adding the tempo as we go on, but it's a nice way to introduce your warm-up into sort of the speed stuff. And we can do it now because we're not talking about max speed stuff, so we can integrate it quite well into the warm-up. What I would advise though is that you've done your speed or your stability and mobility before you do this, because after all it is a taxing unit, so it's important that you're well warmed up and ready to go before we start. So what we're going to do today is go A skips, and you can see the track is laid up at about 10 meters into a 30-meter track. So you do your mechanics, then you open up to 75% of your max. I know it's almost hard to judge, but you're talking about 3/4 paces into the last cone, and then the last two cones there to show that you gradually slow down once you hit the cone. You don't decelerate to a stop once you hit the 30 meters. Okay, so we're going to go. So A skips first, Annie. So Annie's going to demonstrate A skips, and then she's going to open up into the stride of 75%. So the first thing is A skips. Remember the mechanics here. Balls of your feet hits the floor under your center of mass. Toe remains upright, and then again that hand action, lip to hip, and the elbow breaks as you go back. Okay, so off you go. A lot to remember here. Off you go, Annie. Best you can. Breaking the hip. Good extension of the elbow. She opens up into a 75% and then slows down gradually. So that's perfect. So take your time when you're walking back. That's your rest. There's no rush here, so you're taking your time. Again, we're going to challenge the movement again, and Ronan's going to do the next one, so you know what it is. Going to go into our lateral A skips over 10 meters, and then he's going to open up into 75%. Yep. Again, good mechanics. Breaking the hip, extend the elbows, toes up, open up into 75, and walk back in. So slow down gradually, okay? You don't have to go into too much of a deceleration mechanics, just slow down gradually as you get to the top. So the next one is our B skips. So again, mechanics of the B skips, then transform them into 75%. Yep. Open up, good. Cyclic action, balls hits the floor, scraping the balls of your feet, open up into 75% and slow down. Good. Walking back in. Now we're going to go into our bounding. This time it's again a vertical bound, horizontal bound. You're going to as far forward as you can stride out basically. And then you might actually even slow down a little bit because 75% is not that quick. But that's the next one. Off we go. Good. And then 75% canter all the way to the top. Good. Now we got some ankling series. So low ankling is the first one. And he's going to demonstrate. Remember about the pattern that we said, the foot kind of comes up the shin and comes all the way around and it plants under center mass. Again, what we're looking for here. Off we go, Annie. And then opens up into a 75%. Perfect. Now we're into our sixth one and final one. Now this is ankling now, but again just higher. Same mechanics. She was bringing it up around her ankle, just coming up around the ankle joint. This now is coming up around the knee joint. So again, yeah, off we go. Coordinated pattern needed here, and you will get better as you practice it. It takes time to develop this coordination, but now we're challenging, I think, two distinct skills. The mechanics of the movement in these drills, and then the mechanics of the running. And if you build up nicely in the first two blocks, this becomes a little bit easier, but it should be a bit harder now in this third block to kind of combine those two things together. So what we want you to do is 3 sets of the 6. So you've done 6, take a breath, take a breather, take a rest of about 1 minute to 90 seconds, then go again. Second set, same rest, and then go again on the third set. You do 3 of those runs, and you've built up a nice volume in your speed agility to go on to the higher end stuff, which I'm sure you're looking forward to getting involved now. So as always, we do our linear mechanics or some speed work or warm-ups or whatever it is, and then we always do a sort of a jumping protocol in in this session. So this one is going to be a 3-way jump. So it's right onto left. So we're gonna manipulate. I always talk about the 3 planes of motions: forward, left, and right, and rotational. And we're going to mix that up here now today. So it's our ability to go in and out of those planes is basically our sport, and we're going to practice it here in the jump. Okay. So Annie's going to do left onto right onto left. So you'll go forward, side, and then rotate. They're the sequence of events. So first one up, there's 4 jumps. So right onto left, then we're jumping to the side, and then we rotate. So see, there's always left onto right, onto left again. So there's a sequence here. So the same thing again. Now we're going to go to the other side. So forward, side, and rotate. Good. Now with this one here, the important points are: don't jump too far where you can't absorb it and you're a bit unstable. Try and jump though, and then when you land, make sure that movement is quite quick off the floor, and in the last one you should be able to stabilize. That's what we're looking for. So yeah. So now the next one, so that was 1, 2. Now we're going to go side on first, then forward, then rotate. Okay. So side on, forward, and then rotate. Perfect. And stabilize that one. Now we're going to go to the other side, and that's your 4th jump. Side on, forward, and rotate. Perfect. That's good. The mechanics that we do here are very important for your sport, because the sport demands you to do all sort of. If you watch your sport from a jump and movement point of view, you'll see these things come out all the time, from the elite to the sub-elite to whatever level you see. The ability of the body to be able to change direction in multi-planes of motion is a very, very integral part to your sport. So practicing something like this will have huge transfer to you, and it's quite safe to do it in. So we'd like you to do another round. We're going to do another round now, but we'd like to do a 3rd round. So we'll do the same thing again. So you jump forward, left, and then rotate. So forward jump, stick the landing, jump as far, and then left. Good. On this round, if you feel like that's comfortable, just challenge the jump. Go a little bit more on the forward and the lateral jumps, and then stabilize the last one for sure. Yep. So we go forward, left, and then rotate. Good. Good. So you can see there's so many things you can do with this in terms of the intensity you jump at, the distance you jump at, the height you jump at, and each time you just challenge yourself slightly differently. So now the last 2, we're going to go left, forward, and rotate. So left jump, forward jump, and rotate. Good. Last one is the other way now. So again, laterally jump, forward jump, and then rotate. Good. And then stabilize yourself. Perfect. Good. So I want you to practice that once more if you have the time and you can do it and you feel confident in it. Just practice those jumps, and as soon as they become a coordinated pattern, you'll find the transfer to your sport. Okay, now we're going to go into change of direction. So we've done our linear stuff, we've done our mechanics, we've done our sort of speed, if you like. We only have 75, and we've done our jump mechanics. Now we're going to go into our change of direction mechanics. So I want you at home, it's going to be a little bit of a different setup, so I want you to go home to set this up yourself. So here's our starting point, right? We're going to run out to the front of the camera. Then this is the point where we change direction, right? And I'm going to leave a cone here for a second. Actually, if I could grab that cone off you, if you just put it here where this is. Now I want you to go 45 degrees, so about 5 or 7 meters, 45 degrees. Drop the cone down. Do the same thing. Yeah, that's just one, it's perfect. Do the same thing on the other side. Walk out 5 or 7 meters if you have it. Drop the cone, and then a lateral one, so 5 meters. Come out here, drop the cone, and then 5 meters the other side. Drop the cone. Okay, so or 7 meters. If you have 7 meters, that's even better. Okay, so we're going to start in the middle. Okay, we're going to come out. The first thing we're going to do is a 45-degree cut. So we're coming out. I'm not going to explain what the cut I'm looking for here is. I'm driving off my right foot. I'm coming over here, and then I'm decelerating on this cone. Same thing on the other side. I come out, I come across, and I decelerate on the cone. Decelerate here. Okay. I'm going to get a subject to do it. They obviously know what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to set up the environment to show you that this isn't appropriate to put a cone in the middle where you're going to be changing direction, and I'll explain why. But if we start, remember always a good athletic position to start with. That's the most important thing, and it'll never change. That good position is what you need to attain in your sport and get better at. So yeah, just come away from the box, and then you'll do the acceleration, the drop step, accelerate, and then change off the cone. Now, what happens is, too often when we put a cone in the way, right, it manipulates our gait pattern. And then when we get to the cone, we almost feel like it's almost in our way. So what we sometimes do is take a narrow stance and then come across and change direction. But in the sport, that's not how we need to teach acceleration. So I want you to just have that as a reference point, so somewhere in the line, and remove the cone and where you have to go from. So when you stand on here, and remember now, the distances here are a bit false because of the room that we have, but in your space you'll have 5-7 meters to run from, so it'll be more real. And when you accelerate out, think of your feet of acceleration and deceleration in the brakes of a car. I'm decelerating with one leg because I need to slow down myself, not too much because it's only 45 degree. It'll become more important when we go left and right. And then I'm pushing outside my center of mass to get me to that side. Okay, so it's got to be, you got to get your hips low, and you got to get that foot outside your center of mass to drive me off there. Imagine like a train on the tracks. You got to take it off, you got to derail it off its train tracks. So in order to do that, you got to step outside the train track to drive yourself over there. Otherwise, momentum's going to keep going forward. And you certainly don't want to drag yourself around narrowly to get to where you need to get to. And sometimes a cone in the way encourages that. So Annie's going to demonstrate perfectly how to turn 45 degrees on your right foot, if you like, if you're going left. So good athletic position, back drop, step, accelerate. Good. Okay, so again, like I said, it's a bit false in here, right, because we don't have the right distances. But as we're coming in, we're decelerating with that foot, that brakes in front, and then this foot accelerates myself forward to decelerate, and then I'm decelerating on that side. So running, go over to this side, same thing, try and decelerate with the right foot this time, push off my left foot, decelerate on that cone. Good. Now, perfect in terms of the mechanics, so then remember, we're decelerating on this cone. We're showing one way on this cone. Remember, we're still practicing our deceleration mechanics. That's very important. Okay, you got that concept, I hope. It's decelerate, big step with that one, and then accelerate yourself forward. Now, it's only 45 degree cut, so we don't need to go from whatever speed we're going to 0. But now we're changing direction completely. Now we're not even going in the forward direction anymore, we're going laterally. So we have to decelerate. This becomes even a more of an emphasis to decelerate, and then that one to change direction into that side. So we're going to try that same thing again. Same principles apply, so whoever wants to go next, we're just going one on the left and one on the right. So come out, decelerate with the left foot, and then sprint with the right foot. Good. It's good. Remember, decelerate in on that last cone as well. We're practicing now acceleration mechanics, change direction mechanics, and now deceleration mechanics. If you add all those components in, you start getting the repetition right, and you'll start transferring to your sport. Now we're going to our left. So again, good setup, drive the back foot, good mechanics, decelerate right foot, accelerate with the left foot, and then go. Good. Now guys, when you're learning this, and if it is a new skill, and you do want to slow it down, you're like, I'm not quite getting this when I do it at max speed, slow it down. I'm not saying this has to be done at maximum intensity. We're not there yet. We don't have to do that. What we have to try and do is layer up the good mechanics. So I'm accelerating forward. You might want to break it down. So I decelerate, then I accelerate, and then go forward. You might even want to do it that slowly to get your head around what you're trying to achieve, to teach the body the complexity of the movement that's required, but you may need to slow it down to get the detail right. So take your time with this. This circuit that's set up here, I want you to do it 3 times. So it's 3 times, so you do it once, so it's 1 left, 1 right, 45 degrees on each side. Those 4 runs, do them 3 times, again taking a break in between. But again, you add the intensity. Like everything we've practiced before, is that we have to get the movement right. If you start layering up on good movement, you will start getting the benefit and the transfer to your sport. But there's no point in just doing this quick and running through it and just doing this. That's not changing anything. You're not developing yourself. You're not encouraging the body to go places it's not gone before. You're not getting your hips low enough to decelerate, then to drive that foot and really overemphasize it slowly, and then you'll feel the body knows what it's supposed to do, and it'll start doing it better. So it's a bit of a challenge, this block, but like everything, we have to challenge ourselves at some point to make ourselves better. We're going to start layering on these. As soon as you start acquiring these skills, the drills that we'll do that are more advanced, and when you return to your sport, you'll see the difference and you'll feel the difference, and that's what it's all about. So we'll see you for the next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you soon.